This week on the Texas Sports Hall of Fame podcast, we have part 2 of the Lone Star Luncheon with Art Briles and Bryce Petty.
We'll be right back to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame podcast after this message from our sponsors.
This episode is presented by the Hampton Inn Waco. When you come to Waco, be sure to stay at the Hampton Inn Waco. Located just a short distance from the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, you'll start your day off with a delicious complimentary breakfast, and you'll also enjoy the Hampton Inn's free Wi-Fi, fitness center, and pool. Next time you suit up and bring your team to Waco, make the Hampton Inn Waco your home base on the road.
Now back to the Texas Sports Hall of Fame podcast.
All right, Coach, was there one season or maybe even one game where you finally knew you were on the right track and you were going to turn Baylor into a special program?
Well, you never know, and that's what makes sports so great. You always hope, and you always work, and you always strive and thrive to get there, because if you're through changing, you're through. So a game that nobody knows about other than the diehard Baylor fans, that was really what I consider one of the best wins, while we were here, was in 2011 up at Kansas. And they were pretty good, and the Turner Gill was their coach, and it was a cold, windy afternoon. Some of you guys were there. Petty was there. Who was there at that table? Well, y'all know. I mean, we were. You hate to use the word dead, but I mean, we were beat. Basically, we're down 24-3 with 11 minutes left in the game on the road. Northern blowing through. We're against the wind, and we go 85, and somebody can check the stats because I hadn't looked at them, but I think we go 85, we go 88, and maybe 92 to tie it up, to make it 24-24. And then in overtime, we got, they won the flip, we get the ball first. I think we throw a power flip pass to Tevin Reese. He scores, is that right? Some of you guys remember? Yeah, is that right, Petty? Yeah, so we threw two power flip. Pass, yeah, a pass, and we could go through the signals. Everybody still know them. But we threw that, he scores, we kicked the extra point, and then they score. And, Turner Gill, I don't know if you know the story. I love Turner. He's a great coach for many years. He was a quarterback in Nebraska back in the 80s. And I think they're playing Miami National Championship. They go for the 2-point play. He kind of throws it low to the tight end. He kind of drops it. Anyway, they don't win. Miami wins the national title. I think it's Miami. It's probably like in 84, somewhere in there. Anyway, so we score, they go for 2. And in my mind, I'm thinking he's still chasing that 2 points, because honestly, and I learned this the hard way. We got beat 56-53 by Hawaii when I was at Houston in the Aloha Bowl. We got to play that in Honolulu, by the way, which is their home field. But, we got beaten. We go to overtime. So we had a chance to finish it, and I didn't finish it. We kicked it. And then I thought from then on, hey, if you're at home, play for the tie. If you're on the road, go for the win. Anyway, they go for the win. Joe Williams, Bennett had a good defensive call. We look like we're man, but we're actually in zone. And most people run man plays down in 2 points or down inside the 5 area. And Joe sunk on a little corner route, picked the ball off, and we won the game. And I think it got us bowl eligible that day. That was a wild, there was probably 18 people there from Waco. And it was not on TV. We weren't a TV team back then that much. And it was as satisfying a victory at that time in building the program. That same year, Robert won the Heisman. Same year, we beat Washington Alamo Bowl. But if we don't do that, none of that other stuff happens.
Well, Coach, we're going to show you a video clip. This is the play I thought you were going to talk about. You can look behind you and see. We can guess what it is. What do you think it is, Coach?
I would think the field goal against TCU and Fort.
No, this is going to be from earlier than that. Let's look at this one.
21 seconds as they move the chains. The clock stops momentarily. Remember, no timeouts for Baylor. Empty backfield for Griffin. He has time, launches it to the end zone. Touchdown! Terrence Williams!
Get you some. They've had enough success. Yeah.
They've won like 20 years in a row, and first time you'd beaten them in 20 years. And so,
it was the first time Baylor had ever beaten them.
Right, yeah.
Goose egg. And that's what made that so. Really, the guy that hit Robert right there in today's game, it's targeting 15 yards. Back then, it wasn't anything. But, yeah, that was just a masterful night. That's the night Clay recovered the kickoff after that to ice the game. You know, we had a tip pass, I think, from Tevin, maybe to Kendall Wright, went like 86 yards. You know, you got to have that stuff, you know, to have a magical season. So that was actually in 2011 also, and that might have been the week after Kansas. You know, so that just shows you how important that game nobody knew about led up to this right here. But that was, you know, when you got Roberts, you know, you always got a chance. And it was just, you know, they went three-man front, gave him time. We're gonna have people that are gonna get wiggling and get open, you know. So worst thing you could do is give him time, let him see the field.
well, let's move ahead to 2013. 9-0 start. You got as high as number 3 in the rankings. Final game at Floyd Casey Stadium versus Texas. And Oklahoma State had lost to OU earlier that day. So you knew you were playing for the Big 12 championship. Mac Brown's final game with the Longhorns, final game at Floyd Casey. It's like 24 degrees. What do you remember about that game, Bryce?
I think that was generous. Yeah, 24 was very generous. That was cold. I think we had 24 coats on. Yeah, freezing fog, I think is what I heard. But yeah, that was actually really cool because we were in the tunnel about to come out as that game ended. So the crowd was actually telling us, you know, a lot of us didn't want to, we just wanted to go play, you know. This is the game we're worried about. We just want to go play. But the crowd was telling us, hey, this is for the Big 12 championship, which was really cool. So yeah, but we ended up playing that game, played really well. And that was that was just a fight, really. I felt like that was just kind of a dog fight, man. At 30, that's what I think.
We've got a couple plays we'll show. Let's show
okay.
that play.
Yeah,
we'll
great.
show you from that. So
Too wide down low. Empty backfield for Petty. Clay Fuller, the motion man. Petty looks right. One-handed catch. Oh my! Touchdown, Goodley.
he took the lead for
Braxton
good on
will
that
get
one.
his time in the spotlight tonight.
I'm guessing a pick.
McCoy setting up a screen. Picked off.
Oh, KJ.
Morton can
KJ
seal
Morton.
the deal. One man to beat.
They actually called this
Touchdown,
back.
Baylor.
They called it back.
Coach, you were
That's
an
it.
offensive guy
Big
there.
12 champions.
But, you know, it's okay if your defense makes a play like that, right?
Oh, hey, I'll win 7-6 any day of the week. I mean, it's all about winning. You know, but that was fun. That was great. Yeah, it was a really, really good time. Great way to close down Floyd Casey, no doubt.
Bryce, is it hard to throw when the temperature's that way? I mean, what do you have to do mentally to get ready to play in that?
Yeah, I can't make excuses in front of him or else it'll hold on to my head for a long time. But yeah, the ball's certainly harder. But I mean, at the same time too, once you get going,
Well, you did make the this thing's still on. You did make the pass that God caught
yes,
when
yeah,
Glasgow Martin caught the ball on their sideline, who had never caught a pass.
I think he's got
in-
two
in
left feet
practice.
for hands. I mean, it's
Am I lying?
no.
It's, I mean, but it was unbelievable.
Part
Thank
of
you
a
for
bad
checking
decision,
down to
probably
him.
on my fault. Yeah,
Thank you.
I know. But you know, sometimes you got to give a guy a play. You know, and we did not recruit. Coach did not recruit him to catch. I can tell you guys that. Love him to death. But yeah, we threw a ball to Glasgow, and I was telling these guys in the back is the best part. Glasgow's a larger than life kind of guy. Anyways, played running back for us, and so anyways, everybody's kind of congratulating him, and I'm certainly congratulating him the most because I'm throwing that ball. I was like, there's no way he catches this. But so we go to each other, do the whole, embrace, and he said, "Man, don't ever throw me the ball ever again." Oh man, yeah.
Great story. Of course, then that went to the Fiesta Bowl. That didn't go so well. Coach, there was talk during that time that the University of Texas was trying to recruit you and get you to go. How close did that ever come to fruition?
Honestly, if we'd have won that game, it might have come to fruition. But I just, I had all these guys, that come up with us and made the journey to get to where we were at. And honestly, at that time, I felt like I would have been betraying them, in the university, because we'd beaten them in 10, we'd beaten them in 10, 11, and 13. So we'd beaten them 3 out of the last 4 years. Actually, when Nick was a quarterback in 12, they beat us 56-50 at their place. And I still think Terrence Williams was in before halftime, which they didn't have, the chance to look at it back then. But so it could have got real, but I never let it get there. They wanted to come out to Arizona and meet with me after the game and all that stuff, and I just said, no, it ain't. That wasn't right. Wasn't the right time.
We are so glad you stayed.
Well,
right? Mm-hmm. So. Well, in 2014, the first year at McLean Stadium, and Coach, let's be honest, you had as much to do with getting that stadium in there on the river as anybody else. So,
well, I will say, just here's the only thing. The only thing I'll say is that I had a lot to do with where it's located, because initially all the powers to be wanted to put it back by the Farrell Center, and I drive down I-35 in Austin, all the time, and I look this side, I see a baseball field, I look that way, I see a beautiful, stadium, and I thought, well, we got the Brazos River, we got I-35, why don't we put it where everybody drives down that highway can look at it? Some 10-year-old kid will look out the window and say, Daddy, what's that? What's that big building? Well, he's going to say, that's Baylor's football stadium. And then I also convinced Drayton to put his name on it. He wasn't going to do it first. He really wasn't. I said, don't do it for you. Do it for your grandkids. Put your name on the stadium. If you're going to, be the lead donor, then be the lead dog.
And it worked out great. So
it's a beautiful stadium.
It is a
really
beautiful stadium. That first year in 2014, you had another 11-2 season.
We had George Bush rooting for SMU the first game. It's the only thing I remember. How'd that turn out, Prez?
45 to nothing, wasn't it? Yeah. And then you led the nation in scoring again. The game everybody probably thinks about. You want to guess on this one from that year?
Let's see, 61-58.
Yeah. We got a couple of plays to show from that. Let's show you. And then I want to hear what you think about this, Bryce.
To try to come back in this situation.
Play action on 2nd and 9. Long ball, streak on the sideline. Touchdown. Goodley.
Down 21 points with 11 minutes to go. 14 points with 6 minutes to go.
Bryce Petty, they ran it for some success. Go right back to play action. Good protection. Out over the outside to your mature receiver, Goodley. That strong body fights off the
great
contact.
Pass, Bryce.
And goes up and makes a strong-handed catch over Ryan White. Kevin White here in the fourth quarter.
I said earlier Baylor might run 100 plays. That was number 100. Here's 101. Touchdown. Chris Callahan from 20.
And then it came down to the final play of the game.
Y'all had to do that.
Callahan.
He got it.
I think their defensive backs were really tired.
Unbelievable.
Emotionally.
Yeah, that's why I was curious when you said we shared the Big 12 title in 14. You know, it's kind of ironic. Big 12 back then, one true champion. Tell me, I don't know. And that's, honestly, I got in a little bit of trouble for it because that's what I told the commissioner before, you know, they presented us a trophy. I said, if you don't name us or TCU the Big 12 champion, we're going to get nobody in the playoffs. You know, back then there's only 4 teams. And I said, you know, you're hurting the conference. And you're really hard. I mean, choose somebody. Now, I think I know who you should choose because head-to-head, yeah.
Beat them.
Head-to-head. But, you know, they wouldn't do it. And then, you know, we ended up 5th in the voting. But the little-known fact in that game, you know, that really shows anything can predict the outcome of the ball game is after we went down 21 with 11 minutes left, like you mentioned, the guy that scored the touchdown for them, I won't say how he scored the touchdown, but
you can say it. We all learn from failure.
Well, it was a bad
we learn
call.
from failure.
It was a bad call. No. But the guy that scored the touchdown punted the football into the end zone. Okay, so that's a 15-yard penalty. So they're kicking off from the 20-yard line, 15, whatever, and, you know, we get the ball to minus 40, and, you know, we run it 3 times in a row, I think, to Shark, and bam, 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 touchdown. So we, you know, less than a minute off the clock, and now it's a 14-point game. And, you know, the defense made a play right there late to give us a chance to go win it when they went for it on 4th down around, you know, our 42 or 3-yard line, and then Norwood gets a interference call that kind of helped get us down there, which, you know, don't interfere, you know, and that put us, yeah, just play by the rules. And so my buddy called interference on them down there, you know, and then we got a chance for Callahan to ice it. It was, you know, it was a magical night. And we, you know, we had to finish it off against K-State later, so that really wasn't the championship game. The championship game was against K-State.
Bryce, do you have a favorite Art Briles story?
Yeah, I mean, you asked me this the other day, and I've been trying to think of which one would be my favorite, and I say this. I think because my heart's so full when I'm around him, but I just love everything about him. There's not one thing that sticks out that's more important or more impressionable than any other time. I just absolutely love being around him from the time that, shoot, as soon as we walked in here, he said, "Hey, what'd you weigh today, 231?" That was 230.8 this morning. I mean, he does the same thing. And it's just who he is. I mean, all the stories that he has a story on everybody. He has a nickname on everybody. He just makes you feel seen just for being you, you know. And so it's those things are all things that stick out in terms of, you know, just who I remember about him. But in terms of just the culture that he built, the team that he built, what I got to be a part of, not only to get the keys to the car, you know, was one of the things that he told me, it's your car, now go drive it. You know, things like that stick out from the first time we met, where he was telling me, "Hey, I think it's going to be better for you to develop and to wait," and then to have that happen exactly how he said it was going to happen, and for those teams in 13 and 14 to be a part of those teams, it's all those little things that just kind of stick out. I will say, though, one story, and I was trying to, Stefan and I were talking about this before lunch, because there's this rumor that we just all felt and it was for every recruiting class that came in kind of embodied the rumor as well, kind of got handed down, that we all thought that Coach Briles, he wear long sleeves all the time. He's wearing them right now. We just all thought that this dude had 2 double sleeves of tattoos all the way from his shoulder to, I don't know what Jan allowed him to do. Like, you know, he's got West Texas in him, so maybe he's a little bit crazy. But we just all thought that he had 2 sleeves of tattoos on both arms. And it was after one of the games that we were all cheering in the locker room, and all of a sudden, Briles rips up his shirt, and it's got like a little BU tattoo, like right on the side. He goes, "Hey, you like that?" Oh man, he's just, but it's just so much fun being around him, playing for him. So thank you for the opportunity to be around him today. And man, how cool is this? Can we just like, I mean, you're talking, this is Coach. This is Coach. Love it.
Bryce, you and I talked about this briefly on the phone. Yeah, I said, how do you think Coach Briles would do coaching today with the transfer portal, the NIL, all that going on? How do you think he would do?
Well, I know him to win, so I knew he was going to win. It's a different game now. I mean, I'd love to actually hear, Coach's thoughts on it, because I think one of the things that made him such a great coach was to be able to recruit the guys that no one could find, that no one could see, and develop that player into an unbelievably talented person that fit what we needed to do. And so, things like that most people can't do. The world that we live in now, you got a recruit going, how much are you willing to pay? Because A&M's offered me this, or SMU's offered me this, or Alabama's offered me that. When you actually do, that's on the front end, that's just to recruit. When you do actually play, then all of a sudden, hey, thank you for your time developing me. I'm going to go hit the portal and see what I'm worth now, because now I'm either going to come to you and say I'm worth $500,000 because, UCF is going to pay me this. So it's just a weird dynamic. But I'd actually love, I don't know if I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'd love to hear what you think about it.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, I'm just disappointed that you and your buddies back there didn't get money, back when y'all were playing, because, it's certainly, it is what it is. So you play by the rules, and it's changed the game. But one thing that hasn't changed is the number of scholarships that have been given out actually since 1973 and 74. In 73, you could give out, I think, 45 scholarships a year. 74, it went to 30. And now it's, between 25 or 30, depending on your roster size. And the world has gotten bigger. There's more people, there's more players. And if I said every 5-star that we recruited, please stand up, like Eminem might say, there's not going to be anybody standing, So there's a lot of really talented players that just need an opportunity, need a chance. And that's one thing I always told the team. If I could give you one thing, what would it be? A chance. That's all anybody wants is an opportunity. So there's a lot of good players. You got to play the money game. You got to spend it wisely. But at the end of the day, it's about camaraderie in the locker room. It's about people playing for each other and playing for a logo and having the same drive and ambition. So I don't think that'll ever change.
Coach, you did Europe. You did Mount Pleasant High School. Briefly did Canadian Football League and Grambling. Would you like to coach again?
I've had a few brieflies, yeah, in there. There's a few more that you probably don't know about that lasted 48 hours maybe. But, it's all I've ever done. My dad was a high school coach, and it's all I've ever been around. It's all I've ever wanted to do. I got to mention Jan being here. Jan and I went to high school together, started dating in 72, got married in 78, and she's still with me. So she's the best thing that's ever happened to me, undoubtedly.
47 years, right?
Is that what it is?
Congratulations, yeah.
So you're a math guy also, but it's what I do. A little basement coaching, with one or two situations, but it's all good. I feel very blessed, very thankful for the great times that I did get to enjoy and the great people I got to be around. And that's the greatest thing about coaching. Anybody that's ever been around or played, it's a fellowship. You live and die with these people, throughout the years, and so that's what brings the love and the friendship and the respect to everybody.
Hopefully that ship hasn't sailed. You'd get another chance somewhere.
I'm day to day right now. So what'd you say? I can't hardly hear you. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, we'll see.
You'll listen if somebody calls, right? Yeah, there you go. All right. We're a little past 1 o'clock. We're going to open it up to questions from the audience, 2 or 3 questions for a few minutes. If somebody's got a question. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Come on, Claude. We can't do that. There's people might hurt themselves hollering in here. No.
Go ahead, Coach.
No, that would be the finishing touch. I might use some language that might not be, you know, appropriate for in here about whose house, because to make it work, you got to dig a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I could say I drove from Marble Falls down Highway 84 up into.
That'd be pretty incredible to have 400 people doing that.
Waco today to get to whose house? You know, I walked around through lunch and saw Rayford, saw Sammy, you know, the same crew from George's, saw a bunch of great players, you know, they're great people, and they reminded me of whose house? So it's not that hard. Thank you, Claude.
All right, good. Daryl Luce, you got a question? He says, what is the process for getting into the Texas Sports Hall of Fame? I know where you're going with that. He's saying, is Art Briles in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame? I hope I'm accurate when I say this, not yet. The process is you have to be nominated, and you can nominate anyone. The public can nominate someone. You could nominate Art Briles or Bryce Petty or any of these other players. Then in June, we have a selection committee made up of about 30 media members from across the state. And they look at all the nominations, and then they start whittling down the names to the ballots and who they think is deserving. And sometimes you don't get in on the first ballot or the second ballot. It takes a few years. But so they whittle that down to a regular ballot, which has 20 players on it, and then a veterans ballot, which I think has 10 or 12. And then it goes out to voting. Voting members of the museum get to vote on that induction class. You can become a voting member by joining the museum. It's $50 or $100 to do that, and you get extras. You get admissions and T-shirts and caps and stuff. But you become a voting member. That selection committee votes. Inductees vote, past inductees, and we've got 432 past inductees. So you're also recognized by your peers. When Richmond Webb was inducted from Texas A&M and the Miami Dolphins 2 or 3 years ago, he said, and he's in the NFL Hall of Fame, he said, the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, this induction is the highlight of my career because it's not just one sport, it's every sport. Inductees, and we've got 432 inductees from 25 or so sports, and so it's hard to get into, but you look at the body of work. The only thing in the bylaws, somebody has to have been born in Texas or played a significant part of their career in Texas. Art qualifies on both those.
Grant Taft's in it,
yeah.
Correct?
And
yeah.
So
you could ask Grant how you get in. He's
yeah.
well deserved, and
yep.
Yeah, I'm proud for him being in it.
Yep. And so hopefully the answer to your question, Daryl, is in the voters, and the voting is done in July and August each summer after the ballot is set in June. And then the next class is announced in the fall. And then the 26th class, which will be on April 18th, they'll be inducted, was just announced about an hour ago. And it'll be up on the board here in a little bit. And there's some Aggies and some Horns and some Texas athletes on there, some first time, some different sports, barrel racers and such. So, and that's, well. So remember what I said.
Nobody likes Von Miller? Huh?
Coach, you're a hoot, man. I'll tell you what. No, that's good. But remember what I said to answer your question. Hopefully not yet. He's not in yet.
Yet. We're not, I appreciate that, but
yeah.
I'm good. I'm thankful.
Well, like the first step, somebody has to nominate him, and then the selection committee has to pick, and then people get to vote. And it's, but you know, his body of work speaks for itself. I think so. We'll see what happens with that. Excuse me? Stephenville, 4 state championships at Stephenville High School, pretty good record at Hamlin, and then all those bowl games and great seasons. And Coach, the lives you've impacted in high school and college.
It's been my blessing. I've been impacted myself by all the players.
Okay. So, any other questions from the audience? Maybe I have time for one more. Yes, sir.
Look at the scores on this card, and there are a lot of beatdowns. And then there are a couple of standouts where somebody might have gotten. What happened? How did they do that? How does that happen?
He's asking about saying I know they can't hear you in the back, so I'll repeat the question. But he's saying on the 2 years, 13 and 14, we beat some teams pretty handily, and then there's a couple games to where, really I guess 4 games overall, to where it didn't go our way. How did that happen? Well, you know, first of all, I don't know when those dates were. The later you get in the season, road games are harder to win. I mean, the Oklahoma State game, and I guess that was in 13. Oklahoma State game was in 13. I don't know if you remember it or not, but it was kind of inclement weather. Probably one of the coldest I've ever been, honestly, on the sideline. You guys that were there know. It's Coach Clements, who is our offensive line coach. I can remember him saying after the game, it's hard to be inspiring when your teeth are chattering. And, you know, so it was just a night where, you know, they beat us. I mean, it's hard to win because everybody else out there is trying to win also. You know, it's not just your university, your people, you know, your players. It's hard to win. And then in 14, I guess we get beat out west. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Petty. But I was trying to act like I couldn't remember. But, and it's just, you know, I mean, I don't know if y'all have ever been there, but we went up there, I don't know, what was the first year in the conference? 12. Yeah, we went up there in 2012, their first year in the conference, and they'd been winning the ACC or whatever it is up there. You know, they got a lot of Florida kids on their team. So they got people, and we didn't know it. I mean, we're going to Morgantown where I think I'm going to see somebody selling moonshine, you know, and we get there for an 11 a.m. game, and, I mean, there's people everywhere, and they're telling us we're number one, and they're, you know, looking at the bus and doing everything, and it was, and their crowd was a packed house. They got blue and gold all through the stadium, and they beat us 70-63. You know, we scored 63 points and don't get to win, but they did a great job. And then we go up there in 14. We kind of beat them in 13 here because you know, the good thing the Lord gives you is a memory. If you don't use it, it's your fault. And 13, we had them down 56-6 at half and had 600 yards of offense on them. We actually ended up with 872 yards of total offense, which is just, I can't even imagine that in today's game. But so we go up there in 14, and the Lord gave them a memory also, you know. So they were laying for us, of course, burning couches, you know, doing what they do. Seriously, I'm being serious, right? Yeah, I mean, that's what they do. If they win a game, they burn a couch. So, you know, whatever the guy, gallery or whatever in Houston, he needs to have a store there. But so anyway, they beat us. You know, they beat us 41-27. Petty actually gets a little banged up. I think, Seth, you came in for a few plays that game. Is that right? Up there in 14? Yes. And, you know, it's hard to beat. They're a good football team, you know, and good teams. It's just hard to go unscathed, especially when, you know, you got really good players, a really good team, a really good image, and people want to beat you. You know, that's the hardest part. We got to where people wanted to beat us, and, you know, that makes it tougher.
All right, David?
One question from Briles. I don't know if Coach heard your who was some of your best rivals. Could you repeat that? I thought you might get that.
Yeah. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe I said a rival, you have to lose to them sometimes to be a rivalry. Talking about TCU and Texas, OU, all of them. We beat them all, so I don't really know what a rival is. Yeah, thank you. Probably got that from you somewhere. Yeah.
Who you pick? That's a good point. I like that. See, it wasn't all me. It was himself. He did that himself.
I've got to say, when I called Bryce about 3 weeks ago and said, hey, would you like to, we're going to honor the 2013-2014 conference champions and Coach Briles. And he said, you're going to have Coach Briles up on stage? I'm there. Just tell me when and where that's going to be. He was all in. And I had the conversation right before that with Coach Briles. I said, Coach, that was a magical time in Baylor football, and you did so many memorable things and created memories for us. And we'd like to honor those 2 seasons and what you did for Baylor football and have you at the museum. Because they want to talk about football and all the good things. And he said, you tell me when and where. I want to show the people of Baylor and of Waco my appreciation for them. Do you have any last thing you want to say for them? That's good. Okay.
You know, we love you. We appreciate you, and we certainly cherish the love and support that y'all have given us. So it means a lot to us, our family.
Yep, we're good. Ladies and gentlemen, Bryce Petty and Art Briles.
We are Rogue Media Sports.